But what do the Democrats offer? And this was what was really in such stark relief last night. I mean, it was almost like if you were writing the script for a movie, it couldn't have been more dramatic and clear. You had the president and all the different RNC speakers last night who are making their case to the American people. And they're doing so, yes, with the backdrop, the majestic backdrop of the White House. And they weren't wearing enough masks and social distancing. They thought they were there for John Lewis's 9th funeral, or they thought they were there for a Black Lives Matter social justice protest that involved burning down a convenience store or two and, looting a Macy's. So no masks, right? No social distancing. Who cares? No problem there. But after the event, which, as I've said, was just, they crushed it. They did a fantastic job. And the DNC was just weak sauce. The only highlight of the DNC was that Joe Biden didn't, on camera, pass out in his oatmeal and start muttering to himself about, feeding the squirrels. That's it. That's the only thing that they could really point to and say, wow, that was really meaningful. And that's a very low bar. But what happened afterwards? What did we see occurring last night and being shared all over social media? The savage, angry Biden voter mob accosted people who were attending the RNC as soon as they left the White House grounds. So there's substantial security to enter the White House grounds, obviously, during this, but you got to go home at some point. Not everyone can have a sleepover in the East Wing. So what do? They waited and camped out outside, and it's disgusting what they did, what they said. There's video of these Biden voters, these Trump-hating Biden voters, running up and extending the middle finger, actually 2 middle fingers, right in the face in a way that's meant to be menacing, meant to be threatening of an elderly woman. Okay, little old lady's walking out of the White House RNC event with her husband. And, she can't be more than 5'2". And some lunatic MSNBC watching, DNC supporting Biden voter runs up to her, cursing in her face. Imagine if that were your grandma. If I could get away with it legally, I would sock that punk in the mouth, knock out a tooth, and not feel bad about it. But, of course, that's illegal. Although, I don't know, you could claim it's borderline assault to run up in someone's face and start screaming in their face. See, this is what the libs do. Everything they can to terrorize, to frighten, to unnerve, just short of legally justifying, I think morally it'd be entirely justified, legally justifying just giving him a haymaker right in the jaw. Oh, he hit me. That's what they would all say. I've never seen such a collection of pathetic beta males in my life as I have at all of these protests. Notice that they always think they're so brave and tough when they surround people who are by themselves, when they surround people who are elderly, who are infirm, and sometimes they hit them. Sometimes they do attack them. Right? You saw that 70-year-old in Kenosha trying to defend his store, went up and just hit him right in the mouth, knocked him out cold. These people are evil. These people are evil. And it was so clear to anyone watching last night that these Biden voters are such vicious morons. They think they have the moral high ground while they ambush and scream threats in the face of an elderly woman leaving a political event. Look, I'm sorry your DNC was pathetic, you losers, but it's not her fault. And I think we should all see that the Democrat Party has turned into, and I mean this now, the Democrat base in the era of Trump has turned into a grotesque celebration of militant stupidity and mental illness masquerading as activism and social justice. These people are sick. There's something wrong with them. Well-adjusted, honorable, decent people don't do what these savages were doing last night. And it's not like this is a one-off. They show up at officials' houses. In the era of Trump, it's been anything goes. whatever they think they can get away with without necessarily having to deal with force in response from the people that are, they will go right up to the edge where they'll still claim if you were to, just throw a right cross into one of these punks that, oh, it was just a mostly peaceful protest. And go back to Brooklyn and watch Rachel Maddow and Chris Hayes. That's what we're dealing with. These people are completely out of their minds. And if you were able to do a poll, and hat tip Dave Reboy on this one, because he put this out on Twitter. I think it's so true. If you could tell, so many of the most lunatic of these Democrat protesters, so many of them are teachers, social workers, people that are supposed to be ethical, considerate, kind, helping people, molding the youth. But they've really been overcome with a Marxist frenzy. They've completely lost all normal connection to their fellow human beings. And so they feel entirely justified in doing stuff like this. They surrounded and yelled at, and look, there's so much audio out there, but it's just a lot. It's just, there's bleeps everywhere. It's all blank, blank, blank. They're just cursing, screaming F-bombs. So it's not really, it wouldn't be good radio, but it's all over the internet. You can see it. They surrounded and yelled at Rand Paul outside the RNC last night as he's leaving what was a very well-produced, excellent, powerful, memorable event, unlike the DNC, which was garbage. They surrounded Senator Rand Paul, who, as we know, was almost beaten to death by his lib neighbor on his own front lawn, just because he didn't like what Rand Paul stood for. That's what libs do. And was almost shot to death by an insane Bernie Sanders supporter. So I think that's meaningful. This is a guy who's really been through it. He has been the target of really 2 attempted murders by libs in the last 3 years. And they surround him and they're yelling about justice for Breonna Taylor and how Rand Paul doesn't care about black lives. It's not possible to be more ignorant than these crowds of Democrats are. It's not possible to be more uncouth, savage, stupid, rude, dishonorable. I mean, they're setting new records all the time. Rand Paul introduced the Justice for Breonna Taylor Act into the Senate. Rand Paul may be the single most ardent supporter of actual police reform in the United States Senate, maybe even in the United States government. And you're going to mob him with his wife present and threaten them and scream in their faces on the street and yell epithets and curses at them? Only because they see Republican, they see white male Republican attack. That's all. That's all they know. Did this happen at any DNC event? Has this happened at any Democrat fundraiser? Did anyone do this to the Obama administration? Was anyone waiting outside of events, waiting outside the DNC and engaging in this spittle-laden, expletive-filled ambush? No. This is not on both sides, friends. This is not a we do it and they do it and let the chips fall where they may. The Democrat Party has gone insane. The people that are now running the primary narratives, the people that are in charge of the messaging for the Democrats and the Democrat base have completely lost their minds. They need to be brought back to reality. And I mean this. The only way it's going to happen is if Donald Trump wins 4 more years. The only way that we'll achieve any justice for all of this insanity is if Trump wins again. When you're thinking about this as you go in to cast your vote this November, just remember that if Trump wins, it'll emotionally shatter millions, perhaps tens of millions of leftists across the country. They will actually wail in public. They will rend their garments. They will cry and weep and scream and cry and weep and break things. What they did last night is a reminder for all of us that the Democrats will have earned every single second of those 4 more years of Donald J. Trump. Every second of it.
Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.